Mind Matters. This is the audio version. I would also recommend the paperback version, so that your visionary system can absorb the information herein. Begin. Hello and greetings, my name is Clive Branson. Welcome to my amazing Mind Matters course, which includes subconscious persuasion and self-help material. Within this series you will be led into the wonder world of psychology, learning as you go.
They welcome you.
Building into a 12-part course, giving you the tools of mastering the art of persuasion.
Son or daughter.
This course is an adaptation from my book, Mind Matters, Selling and Persuading Below the Threshold of Conscious Awareness.
And always have been.
Let me begin at the start and absorb what expounds as I walk you through the pages of my book. The first part includes the introduction, titled The Awakening, and how I discovered psychological selling and persuading. Continuing with Part 2, Subconscious Thought, Psychology of Mind, the basis of thought control, and why we are all in two minds.
Let yourself
Part 3,
in the song of
Mind
the
Setting,
stars.
Programming
As
the
it
first steps to
continues
success,
on and on,
and how to program
never
the human
ceasing or
biocomputer.
faltering.
Part 4,
Other celestial
Your Best
bodies
Friend,
hear of your
Below
own
the Threshold of
way.
Consciousness, how you can read a person's mind and thoughts.
Ahead of you,
Part 5,
inky purple
how to
nebula
influence someone
appears,
below their threshold of awareness with body
its
language.
feathery edges waving
Part
in
6,
time to the music of the
Psychological
stars.
Anchoring, placing a psychological anchor in a person's mind.
A planet
Part 7,
appears spinning gently,
the foundation block of persuading,
clouds of its atmosphere
putting everything
dancing
together that you
slowly
have learned thus
across
far.
its surface.
Selling and persuading. Part
Soon
8,
another planet
Mnemonics
appears,
covering, memory techniques and training.
its colors twirl
Part 9,
soothingly as it
Successful
turns on
listening.
its axis.
Silence is golden.
All of this
Part
will teach
10,
you,
it takes all type of people
What does
covering
your
personality types.
recognize
Part 11,
that you too
Face reading
are
physiognomy.
made of the stuff of
Part 12,
galaxies.
Winners and losers. Food for thought, vitamins, and minerals for the brain.
Perhaps at one time
Concluding
you
with a
will
summary of the course.
be, or perhaps someday you will be. But for right now,
Introduction.
simply
The Awakening.
allow yourself to be carried
How did I
along
get into the
in
greatest
the
game on
song
earth? I ask myself.
and friendly laughter of the moon
Perhaps I just slotted into a groove, or perhaps I was led, or just fell into this dismal life of self-torture. Or was it something else? When as a young man just leaving school at the age of 16, I applied for a job in a local retail shop, not for the money or the distinction of becoming a salesperson, but for the interest I had about the products for sale. Tropical fish, this was it. I thought a hobby and an interest that would keep me fixated to a future that I'm adhered. It was my good fortune to meet and be taught the rudiments of selling by an old Jewish master. Leo Abs was his name, a descendant from a long line of Jewish settlement folk, now prevalent in the city I was born. His family being part of a firm of solicitors and property owners. Using business acumen and what I now know as subconscious manipulation, the Abs family became possibly one of the largest money-making families in the city during the 60s. This clever old fox would teach me the body language of selling and the cold sell. Watching him at work was so exhilarating. Often he would turn a casual window shopper into a big £100 plus sale, and in those days of high unemployment and less money to go round, he would amaze not only me but also the staff of his sales ability. Using psychology, he would set the scene, point out the benefits, create the desire, and close. He was truly amazing. It was no wonder that he amassed a fortune before his retirement. After my 4 long years apprenticeship in retail selling, I decided to take the giant step of going into the field of direct sales, joining a national insurance company and starting from the ground floor as a collector and sales agent. Through my experience of retail sales, I endeavored to reach the top within the company. Within the space of 12 months, I reached my targets and goals with promotion. Becoming an area sales manager was my reward. At that time, I thought I was a very good salesman and was often praised by those above me and head office, with awards such as Salesman of the Month and Top Producer of the Year. Soon I was approached by other insurance companies and was offered higher salaries and commission, of which I duly accepted. However, as time went on, I was never really happy, as some prospects just would not accept my storyline, and I could not close on every single prospect. For some reason I could not explain, some individuals were not always on the same wavelength as me, no matter how hard I tried. Endeavoring to improve my lot, I took up the study of reading self-help and motivating books. One book in particular, which covered a multitude of interest, was a book written by Mr. Ron Holland. The name of the book, Talk and Grow Rich. This book more than any other led me to more inspirational reading about the subconscious mind. After a while I decided to take a course on psychology, as this subject always intrigued me. During these studies, it led me into the field of hypnosis and hypnotherapy. I thought, if I could hypnotize my prospects, I would close on every sale. However, in reality it did not work, as hypnosis is a state of mind brought on by a person's own self-belief, therefore making it impossible to impose your will upon another. It did, however, open other doors to human psychology, which are now scientific knowledge, and the thesis of what this recording is based upon. My obsession to learn more about psychology came when I tried so hard to close every sale. Why could I not close on every sale? Why did my prospect not buy? To help me in my quest, I created an obsessive driving force within me to study even more psychological and motivating books. Within time it all came together like a jigsaw puzzle. Everything gelled and started to make complete sense. I also had to visit and speak to some of the authors of the books I studied, just to make certain in my own mind. To analyze the workings of the mind and the psychology of human nature, I became a student in the art of hypnosis and hypnotherapy. I set up practice with my own institute and taught many people the art of hypnosis. Students include doctors, nurses, teachers, and other people to better themselves. I also studied the occultist, religion, and the psychics. I learned the secrets of fortune telling. I discovered the universal consciousness that led me into parapsychology. I researched phrenology, physiognomy, and became proficient in nonverbal communication, become a lecturer and speaker on the subjects. I scaled the heights in my chosen sport and became a world champion. All this I achieved when I discovered how thought patterns are programmed by the subconscious mind. Using my newfound information and piecing it all together led me to a new and full understanding of the human mind and its conditioning, helping me achieve even greater sales and closing. To further experiment and exercise my thesis on psychological selling and persuasion, I joined a national direct sales company and within 3 months became one of the top salespersons in the company. In fact, winning the New Salesman of the Year award and a tropical holiday. I believe that all humans are born salespeople. From the day we were conceived, we were programmed to impress our will upon other human beings. Some may say manipulation or mind suggestion. In the womb we would move if uneasy or crave to be fed. Certainly from a child we would want our own way. When hungry, cold, or wet, we cried for our mother to be picked up. As we grew older, we would have a tantrum to get our own way. We begged and nagged to be given a treat, perhaps candy or an ice cream. We knew our limitations, we just knew how far to go with our parents. When we grew older and knew right from wrong, we gradually changed our wants. As young men and women, we sold ourselves to a new job. We sold our souls to a new love in our lives. We even sold ourselves to strangers, as we all wanted to be loved and liked. We are all born salespeople whether we like it or not. Through my studies I have also found some amazing facts about mind conditioning. Our brain is like a sponge and we absorb stimuli and thousands of facts subconsciously and consciously every second of the day. Our brain is formed in such a way that we are open to suggestion, for without this special mechanism we would not grow and expand mentally. Our minds are being programmed all the time. In fact, from the day we were born, we have been programmed by one person or another. First our parents or guardians, to our teachers and the authorities, our friends and enemies, and for good measure, the government, the news media, television, and radio, advertising companies. In fact, almost everywhere we look, every time we listen, we are bombarded with mind-changing suggestions, whether we like them or not, or even consciously are aware of them. Throughout the book, I want you to be aware of this single fact, that because of the structure of the brain and its makeup, we are all open to suggestion in one way or another. Through practical knowledge and a scientific approach of human understanding, I have constructed this book in such a way that you will find it easy to understand, and hopefully open up a Pandora's box of interesting and new psychological awareness, giving you the tools of being the most powerful person that you are ever likely to meet. This may feel, sound, or appear to be a derogatory statement, however, by the time you have read the entire book, all doubts should evaporate, and you will have a completely new understanding of why every person in this world are in two minds. Sales winners are always prepared to learn. This statement is true today, as was written many years ago. In fact, all winning attributes of life can be said of this. Through positive mental attitude and self-imagery, I have personally arose above setbacks and disappointments to become a master of most things I have attempted. I don't mean to be brash, big-headed, or blow my own trumpets. Yet I have the testimonials, credentials, and facts to back me up. I have become a world champion in my chosen sport. I have found financial abundance, and I have found peace of mind and fulfillment. However, I have experienced and suffered defeat, humiliation, homelessness, penniless, losing all my possessions. Yet I bounced back, and perhaps before my life is finished it may happen again. I am not afraid of this, for I know I can regain and grow even stronger. The study of psychology has led me down many paths. The most important and exciting venture was to set up an institute for hypnosis and hypnotherapy. Helping people with personal problems have helped me realize that there is always someone worse off than you. Giving back human kindness is a great gift, for we all are generous in one way or another. My claims to fame may be many, but human kindness and thought always humble me. I used to feel sorry for myself once, because I had holes in my shoes. I would go to the office and sit at my desk, sometimes with wet feet. I would tell my colleague how I felt. He would listen to me without contradiction. I would leave the office before him every day. Until one day he decided to leave the office before me, and as he got up to go, I noticed he had a limp. In fact, on closer inspection, I noticed he had a clubfoot. There's always someone worse off than you. My philosophy in life is to become your own best friend, but not to lose sight of the fact that we all end up in the same hole in the ground. We have only a short time on this planet. We live our lives in a 3 space-time zone. The first time zone is growing time. Perhaps only 16 to 18 years are spent learning to adjust to the second time zone of earning enough money within 40 years for our third and final time zone of retirement, which may only be 5 to 15 years. In essence, we must take and relish the moment of each minute of every day of our lives, for we are all too long gone. In my practice of hypnotherapy, I have regressed many people to a past life. However, past life experiences are not today's pie in the night sky. Take a tip from me and get it now on the ground while you are still around. Selling is the most important profession there is. Be proud of this fact. Without a salesperson, nothing in this world would move. There would be no incentive to do anything. The economy of the world and all governments would collapse, and there would be anarchy in the streets. As the monetary system would cease, we would all end up fighting, possibly reverting back to caveman mentality. Civilizations would collapse, and it would be the end of the world as we know it. Think about this for a moment. Just look around you. Everything you see and touch has had to be sold. You could invent the best product in the world, or you could make the best item that's ever been produced. But without a salesperson to sell the product or the idea, then your efforts would have been a waste of time and money. A sales profession can sometimes be an unhappy one. Sometimes it may appear to be the worst profession in the world. It can seem to be downright degrading, humiliating, and soul-destroying. Yet it can be the most rewarding and satisfying. It can also be the best paid job that you could ever come across. Salespeople are in the highest paid profession in this world today. It takes someone special to be a successful salesperson, hence the rewards are great. The greatest salesman of all mankind was born to a humble carpenter in a lonely place. He recruited 12 men to help him sell his story. He had his knockbacks, his defeats, and many doors were closed in face. In fact, he lost his life selling his story. Yet over 2,000 years have passed in time, and his story goes on and on. He sold his story to a following, which grew so strong, that people, all over the world from different walks of life now believes his story. His name, Jesus Christ. By having studied and practiced psychology for over 30 years, I am prepared to reveal secrets to you that have never been dared to put into print before. Disclosure by the psychiatry profession will not begin to teach or reveal the secrets within this book, or if you are listening to my recording. Some may say that this information I am about to reveal is perhaps too controversial, yet in the right context, this, like many other motivational books and recordings, are only to help my fellow man who perhaps have been longing to rise, like the phoenix from the ashes of depravity. With countless years of trail and tribulations, and studies with an accumulation of diplomas and sales awards, combined with first-hand experiences, I have made this recording into an easy-to-listen information course on working psychology. Gleaned mainly from the studies of the brain and psychological behavior, hypnosis and hypnotherapy teaching, sale techniques and human social habits. Having the inner knowledge and the ability to persuade other human beings into responding to your whim is perhaps one of the greatest gifts a person could empower. Have you the commitment and the heart to follow through with what expounds before you within this recording and become a great salesperson and persuader, having all that you desire in life? I surely hope so. For within this lifetime works, you will discover the workings of the unconscious mind, how to manipulate to your advantage below the conscious level of awareness. You will understand the basic psychology of human thinking, as well as your own thought process, perhaps releasing the arbitrary thinking of your own limitations. At this stage, I would like to read you a brief anecdote kindly accepted from my friend, author and motivational speaker Mr. Ron Holland, in his famous book, Talk and Grow Rich. Over a few hundred years ago, the famous Zen master Nanin received a university professor who came to Japan to inquire about Zen. While Nanin was quietly preparing tea, the professor began to elucidate at great lengths on all his own philosophies. Nanin had prepared the tea and began to pour the tea into the cup that the professor was holding. When the cup became full, the Zen master kept right on pouring, and the tea overflowed everywhere. The shocked professor exclaimed, "But master, the cup is full, no more will go in." Nanin replied, "Like this cup you are full of your own ideas, opinions and speculations. How on earth can I show you Zen unless you empty your own cup first?" Are you ready to empty your own cup and grasp the knowledge that is put before you within this recording? Perhaps you are happy to live in your own mundane existence, or would you prefer to control your own latent talents and the power that you could have over all things before you? Through this recording, I will teach you the inner workings of the conscious and subconscious, how you could read mind thoughts and evaluate whether a person is telling you the truth. Talk to people on the same wavelength, below the threshold of consciousness. Influence people, get them to like you, and win them over, even the opposite sex. Persuade others to do what you want, and at the same time let them think it was their idea. Become a positive thinker, knowing the inner workings of the subconscious and conscious mind. Memorize faces, events, dates, time, shopping lists. Improve your body with mind power, self-healing techniques. Spot negative and positive body language and learn nonverbal communication, making the principles of psychology easy for you to apply in your daily contacts. This and more will be shown to you, but a warning before you commence, for it is you, and you alone, who will have complete control over your destiny, and only you who will have the final say and outcome. You have in your possession probably one of the most powerful psychological tools that has ever been put to a recording. Bold statement to make? But I dare you to question this after you have listened to the entire recording. If you absorb only a fraction of its contents for your benefit, then you will definitely be a winner in this great big, wonderful world that you now live. You must first empty your mind of any preconceived ideas and totally be absorbed by the facts that will be put before you. That said, please be my guest and absorb what expound before you. End of lesson 1. please continue to recording number 2.